Hi class, I am LaTronda Fanar and I am doing the video on Cultural Immersion Project. Our video presentation is exploring veterans' experiences and cultural insights. My introduction is, this presentation will explore a cultural immersion project that involves interviews with a U.S. Navy veteran, Mr. Derek Ray Williams, and a representative from Veteran Services Organization. The goal was to understand the cultural and social justice issues veterans face, particularly during transitioning from military to civilian life. And believe it or not, I learned a lot, and even knowing what they go through, but not knowing, talking to this young man and this organization shed a whole new light on my empathetic side for veterans. 4 key elements that I learned from this research were recognition of cultural differences and challenges veterans face when integrating into civilian life. Pretty much what I just said a minute ago. It was just so surreal. Another hot topic was the mental health challenges, including things like PTSD, depression, and access to the adequate care needed so that, they can be better and feel better based on everything that they've gone through and what they've experienced. It's difficult for these guys, and I learned that along the way, and we have to do better, America. We really do. Another one was social justice and advocacy as critical components for supporting the marginalized population. It has access out there, but it doesn't, is what I've learned. And we have to make sure that the programs and the accessibility and the fights that we do for them, they benefit from it. It's no good to have all these social justices and advocacy groups and programs and different things if the veterans don't know they exist, or if the veterans have to go through so much red tape just to gain access to this, or once the veterans know it exists and get to it, oh, you don't qualify, or you can't get it, or we have to make sure that the programs and the advocacy groups and the things that are out there are of benefit to them. I learned that just by hearing that side and talking to them. It was real. The importance of culturally competent counseling in addressing veterans' unique needs. It is going to be real important that they have someone to talk to. They need an outlet. They need to know that it's okay, that they are supported, that they are appreciated, that they are respected for the time and the service that they did. They gave their life, So we, as, civilians, counselors, or whatever role we are playing in aiding them, we have to be prepared to assist them. This is going to be so important. Veterans, particularly African American veterans, have historically faced barriers to accessing benefits such as housing. Do you know how many veterans are homeless? It's unreal. It's just unreal. Mental health. It touches my soul because after I did this interview, I went and looked for this one particular veteran that I used to work by. Well, he was a homeless man, and I found out that he was a veteran. We used to call him President because he would say he was Thomas Jefferson's son. And in his heart, he believed that. He never strayed from that story. Whenever you would meet him, but the sweetest man. And he would tell you about all kind of war and different things that occurred and all of that. But to know someone with such a gentle soul, that's really heartbreaking. We got to be able to get them the mental health care that they need, the reintegration support that's necessary. The systematic challenges persist, especially for veterans discharged under less than honorable conditions. And to me, it is fair, don't get me wrong, but I think they should have a scale like dishonorable discharged on what? How much time did you spend in there? Because based on the amount of time you spent, you should still be able to compensate. Because if you gave a whole year of your life and you just got into a fight or something, you should still be awarded some kind of health care or mental health care or counsel, something. And I just think we need to do a better job at taking care of anyone that has decided to do this. It's just, we have to. So I went to 2 different events. The summary of the 2 events will be listed here, and 3 key learning components. The first event, veterans experiences in, I think I messed up my sheet. The first event was a work source, what do you call it, like job fair, like for veterans. It was neat. I learned, the number of veterans that are out there that are jobless are just as prevalent as civilians. And the other component to that is more people are prone to jump for a veteran, to hire them, which I thought was very admirable at this place. Just watching, they gave preference a lot if you were a veteran. I thought that was really neat and cool. Another thing I learned is the skills, even though they may gain skills, they don't have skills. Like resume writing and, the skill set necessary to get the job, the interview, questioning, how to talk in an interview, things of that sort. Because they military minded. They're just focused on you get up, you follow your orders, you do this. So nobody ever taught them how to do certain things. So it's important. And the other thing I went to was a HEALS, a thing up in East Texas for women veterans, particularly not just veterans, but for women veterans, and the support that they need, because they hit various different aspects, from the identity thing of being a woman and the sexuality issues and things of that sort that they have to go through. So that, can be a little difficult for them, but it was really neat to see that there are a lot of programs out there for women veterans, and just listen to these women talk about the different things that they could have and possibly occurred was pretty cool. And speaking with the agency interview, and they provide services such as housing, medical care, and mental health support to veterans. There are significant gaps in services, especially for veterans less than honorable discharge. Like I said earlier, they don't do that. And if they go to the VA hospital or something for help, they have such long wait times to get an appointment, to see a doctor once you're there. It's almost like you got to be committed to a day just to get health care. It's like you got to give your life all over again just for the doctor to make sure you're okay. And they have no prioritization. And it's almost like, well, then get a few people while they're in the military and try to encourage them to become doctors so that they can work in your hospitals or something. We got to figure out a better way to make this work for these veterans, because they deserve it. And it's not fair, but they do deserve it. A summary of the individual interview. Derek Roy Williams was an African-American Navy veteran. He served 4 years in the U.S. Navy. He shared experiences of cultural differences from his time that he was in Thailand and Hawaii. He did discuss how he got kicked out of the country. His whole platoon or his whole crew got kicked out of Thailand for some things that they did. But he was just saying how they did a lot of sex trafficking, even with minor kids. And it's all seems to be okay. Nobody questions it or anything. In the cultural area was very hard. He talked about his upbringing with his father and how his father was a military man, and but it shaped his father was very strict and hard on him, but it helped to shape his worldview on global inequality and family dynamics as comparison from how his father treated him and the things he underwent once he got out into the world and saw things in a different light. He said it was totally different and a little crazy because in Hawaii they were super family oriented, but in Thailand they were not. So it was pretty different, he says. Summary of experiences using summary section prompts. The interviews provided me with more emotional insight compared to the research. 2 surprising elements were emotional burdens of veterans post-service and the severity of exploitation seen in Thailand. Pretty much what I just said, guys. And personally, this experience deepened my empathy and reinforced the need for advocacy and mental health care for veterans. Again, same thing I stated earlier. It really made me feel like, gosh, what can I do? How can I help? And so I'm excited to become a counselor so that I can get on board with doing that, with helping people, especially people that gave their life to help us. And in conclusion and practical application, the Cultural Immersion Project highlights the importance of culturally competent counseling and advocacy-driven approaches. I 100% agree with that. I think that we must do that. That's so important. And the lessons learned emphasize empathy, active listening, and advocating for systematic changes to better support our veterans. Again, my name is LaTronda Fanar. This project touched me. It touched my soul. And it made me realize that we, as individuals and as groups, as races, as cultural difference, whatever we want to identify in whatever segment of our lives, whether it's an individual or a group or whatever, we need to appreciate those that decided to give their lives for the safety of our country, to help us. And we gotta do that. We gotta, they have the holiday, Memorial Day and Veterans Day. They have that holiday, but we gotta do more. It just seems like we're not doing enough. And maybe we are. And I'm sure it's tons of stuff out there that I'm not aware of. But if I'm not aware of it, are they? That's something to think about. Maybe just bringing about more awareness and pushing it to the limit. I really think we need to work on that. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure. Bye.